Chocolate is one of the most delicious ingredients used in baking. Using different kinds of chocolate can change the taste and texture of your bakes and desserts in a good or not so good way. In today's video, let's take a look at the different kinds of chocolate available here. I earlier knew only Amul milk chocolate and Camco white chocolate. I later discovered dark chocolate and I loved what I could do with it. Broadly speaking, there is dark chocolate which includes both semi-sweet and bittersweet chocolate. Semi-sweet chocolate is a little sweeter than bittersweet chocolate generally, but these are often used interchangeably. Then there is milk and white chocolate. There is also unsweetened or pure chocolate, which is chocolate with almost no sugar in it. It's also called as baking or bitter chocolate. This again is not the same as chocolates with artificial sweeteners added to them to make them sugar-free. There is also compound chocolate. You get white compound chocolate, dark compound chocolate and so on. These chocolates have some harmful fats added to them, so I do not really recommend using them. I was using these chocolates earlier, but I have now stopped using them. Always stick to the kind of chocolate recommended in the recipe. Try not to substitute one kind for the other unless you really know what you're doing. Good quality chocolate normally has the cocoa percentage mentioned on the pack. This indicates the total amount of the cocoa solids and cocoa butter. The remaining is mostly sugar. As Rose mentions in the Baking Bible, the cocoa percentage need not necessarily be the indication of the level of bitterness of the chocolate. But chocolate with a higher cocoa percentage does make your bakes and your desserts more chocolatey and more firm. So for the best taste and texture, please try to stick to the chocolate with the cocoa percentage recommended in the recipe. If you get a chance, do check out these premium brands of chocolate available. I use this brand called as Morde. You could also try Cocoa Craft. So when recipes call for dark, semi-sweet or bittersweet chocolate, I tend to use Morde dark chocolate. And wherever possible, I try to add a teaspoon of instant coffee to cut down on the sweetness and intensify the taste of the chocolate. Amul chocolate is very commonly available across the country, but I'm not very sure how well it would work in baking and in desserts. Ganache is one of the tastiest things you could try with chocolate. It's basically cream and chocolate heated together, and you could use this as a cake frosting or as a sauce. For making ganache, you could use any kind of chocolate you like, but the proportion of the cream and the chocolate will vary, so be careful. You can watch the video on making ganache here. Please click on the eye at the top corner of the screen. And then we have these chocolate chips which are designed not to melt in the oven heat. These are normally added to cake or cookie batter so that you get those bits and pieces of chocolate in your mouth when you bite into them. Try to get good quality brands like Hershey or Nestle if you can. You could also use chopped up chunks of dark chocolate or milk chocolate to stir into the cake or into the cookies. You need to be really careful about the kind of chocolate you're using when the chocolate is going to be melted and stirred into the batter for cakes or cookies. And then there are chocolate calots. I feel really envious of Nigella Lawson and Rose Berenbaum when I see them using them in their ganache and in the cakes and desserts. Unlike chocolate chips, these are designed to melt, but without the hassle of having to chop them. But again, not so commonly available here in India. Recipes often require you to melt chocolate in order to use it in your cakes or in your brownies. This is not difficult, but you do need to keep a few things in mind when you melt chocolate. Please do watch this video on melting chocolate here. So this was a tiny bit about chocolate. I hope it helps you get started. It's a huge ocean if you want to dive into it, if you want to learn more. I hope you found this video useful. Please do leave your comments for me.